Have you ever wondered if December 25th is really the date Jesus was born? While this date is widely celebrated around the world as Christmas, the actual birth date of Jesus remains a mystery, shrouded in historical, biblical, and cultural intrigue. December 25th is recognized worldwide as the birth of Jesus Christ, but this date wasn't established until centuries after his life. So, why was December 25th chosen? The answer lies in a mix of historical tradition, cultural adaptation, and theological symbolism. In ancient Rome, December 25th coincided with two significant festivals: Saturnalia, a week-long celebration honoring Saturn, the god of agriculture, and Dies Natalis Solis Invicti, the birthday of the unconquered sun, which celebrated the winter solstice and the sun's return. Early Christians, living in a predominantly Roman world, may have adopted this date to shift focus from pagan festivities to the birth of the light of the world. Additionally, early Christian writers like Hippolytus of Rome referenced December 25th as Christ's birth, linking it to the belief that Jesus was conceived at the same time of year he later died, around March 25th, placing his birth 9 months later. While the date carries historical and symbolic meaning, there's compelling evidence suggesting Jesus' birth might have occurred at a different time. While the Bible does not provide an exact date for Jesus' birth, several clues within Scripture give us insight into the possible time frame. By examining the context of key events and descriptions in the Gospels, we can narrow down the season of Jesus' birth. Luke's Gospel describes shepherds living out in the fields, keeping watch over their flocks at night. This detail suggests a milder season, as shepherds typically didn't stay in the fields during the cold, rainy winter months. Many scholars believe this points to a spring or autumn birth. Luke also mentions a census ordered by Caesar Augustus, requiring Joseph and Mary to travel to Bethlehem. Historical records of such censuses indicate they often took place during warmer months when travel was easier, again hinting at a time other than December. The birth of Jesus is linked to the conception of John the Baptist, whose father, Zechariah, served in the temple during the division of Abijah. By tracing this priestly schedule, scholars estimate John's birth in the spring and Jesus' birth approximately 6 months later, potentially placing Jesus' birth in September or October. These biblical clues challenge the traditional December 25th date, opening the door to other possible times for Jesus' birth. Beyond biblical clues, historical records and astronomical phenomena provide fascinating insights into the possible timing of Jesus' birth. Ancient historians, along with modern astronomers, have studied celestial events and historical documentation to uncover potential dates for this significant event. The Gospel of Matthew mentions a star that guided the Magi to Jesus. Astronomers have proposed several celestial events that could explain this phenomenon, including a conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn in 7 BCE, forming a bright, unusual sight in the sky. A triple conjunction of Jupiter, Venus, and Regulus in 3 to 2 BCE, which would have created an exceptionally bright object, possibly interpreted as a kingly sign in ancient astrology. Matthew also places Jesus' birth during the reign of King Herod the Great, who, according to historical records, died in 4 BCE. If Jesus was born shortly before Herod's death, it would suggest a birth year between 6 and 4 BCE. Luke references a census under Quirinius, which, while debated, aligns with known administrative practices of the Roman Empire. These censuses often coincided with harvest times in autumn, when people traveled more easily to their ancestral towns. Some scholars propose that Jesus' birth might align with significant Jewish festivals. For instance, the Feast of Tabernacles in September-October holds symbolic significance as it celebrates God's presence dwelling with His people, echoing the theological concept of Jesus as Emmanuel, meaning God with us. When we combine these astronomical and historical findings with biblical accounts, an autumn birth seems plausible, potentially around September of 3 or 2 BCE. While scholars debate the exact date of Jesus' birth, the significance of the event transcends the calendar. Whether in spring, autumn, or winter, the birth of Jesus continues to be a profound moment in history and faith, celebrated worldwide regardless of the precise timing. Determining the true date of Jesus' birth has long intrigued historians, theologians, and astronomers alike. While Scripture provides some clues, scholars have turned to historical records, ancient customs, and contextual insights to better understand the timing of this significant event. Despite centuries of research, scholars continue to debate the exact date of Jesus' birth. While historical, astronomical, and biblical evidence point toward a spring or autumn birth, the tradition of December 25th remains deeply rooted in Christian practice, largely due to its historical adoption and theological significance. The selection of December 25th as the official date of Jesus' birth was not based on definitive historical records, but rather a combination of theological symbolism, cultural adaptation, and early Christian tradition. Understanding why this date was chosen requires looking at the broader religious and historical context of the early church. Early Christians often associated Jesus with light and the triumph of life over darkness. Jesus referred to himself as the light of the world, John 8:12, and his birth came to symbolize the arrival of divine light into a dark world. December 25th aligns closely with the winter solstice, a time when days gradually become longer, representing light overcoming darkness. For early Christians, this cosmic event beautifully mirrored the theological message of Christ's incarnation. In ancient Rome, December 25th was celebrated as Dies Natalis Solis Invicti, the birthday of the unconquered sun, honoring the sun god Sol Invictus. The Roman festival of Saturnalia, held in mid-December, was also a time of feasting, gift-giving, and social merriment. By adopting December 25th as Christ's birth, early Christians redirected the focus from pagan celebrations to the birth of Jesus, emphasizing him as the true Son of Righteousness, Malachi 4:2. Hippolytus of Rome, circa 200 CE, was one of the first Christian scholars to propose December 25th, based on his calculations linking Jesus' conception to the date of his crucifixion, March 25th, and adding 9 months. Julius Africanus similarly supported this date, and by the 4th century, it had gained wider acceptance within Christian communities. In 313 CE, Emperor Constantine legalized Christianity through the Edict of Milan, and by the mid-4th century, the Roman Church formally recognized December 25th as the date of Jesus' birth. Constantine's endorsement of this date helped unify Christians across the empire and provided a clear alternative to pagan traditions. As Christianity spread throughout the Roman world, integrating existing cultural practices helped facilitate its acceptance. By celebrating Jesus' birth during a time already familiar for communal gatherings and festivities, the Church made the holiday more accessible and meaningful to converts. Despite ongoing debate about Jesus' actual birth date, December 25th became deeply embedded in Christian tradition. Over the centuries, it evolved into a global celebration of Jesus' birth, blending theological significance with historical and cultural traditions. Ultimately, the date serves less as a historical marker and more as a symbolic reminder of the hope, light, and redemption Jesus brought into the world. The exact date of Jesus' birth remains an intriguing historical mystery. While December 25th has become the widely recognized and celebrated day, the evidence we've explored suggests that Jesus was more likely born in the spring or autumn. From biblical records of shepherds in the fields to astronomical clues like the Star of Bethlehem, scholars have pieced together compelling arguments for alternative dates. Ultimately, the significance of Jesus' birth transcends the calendar. Whether he was born in March, September, or December, his arrival marked a turning point in history and continues to be a source of hope, faith, and reflection for millions around the world. The celebration of Christmas on December 25th serves as a powerful reminder of the light of Christ shining in the darkness, regardless of the exact day. If you found this video interesting, don't forget to like this video to help spread the word. Comment below with your thoughts. When do you think Jesus was actually born? Subscribe for more historical, biblical, and faith-based content. Thanks for watching, and remember, while the date may be debated, the meaning of Jesus' birth remains timeless. See you in the next video.